So welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I'll be talking about factoring trinomials. So I wrote a little step-by-step guide here about how I would go at it in the simplest words I could find. So in the first step, we have to identify the structure. For us, in this instant, the structure would be ax squared plus bx plus c. That's basically the simplest way of writing trinomials. And we'll be looking at, first of all, is the coefficient a being 1. Then, secondly, we have to find the pairs of numbers. Then we factor by grouping. And lastly, we factor out the common binomial. So this is our first example, x squared plus 10x plus 24. What we can clearly see in this is that the coefficient, since there is nothing in front of the x, that just implies that the coefficient is 1. Let's get into how I would start this. So first we look at the c. The c in this instance is 24. What you basically have to do is find two numbers which multiply to make 24, but add to make 10. So that's exactly what we're going to be doing right now. We've got our c, and now we just write down the numbers which multiply to make 24. So 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and 4 and 6. And what we can see from here is that 24 plus 1 equals to 25. Let's write it like this. 2 plus 12 equals to 14. So, which is still not the b that we're looking at right here. 3 plus 8 equals to 11. 4 plus 6, however, equals to 10. And that is exactly what we're searching for here. So let's use this. So what we can do now is actually break down this trinomial. So what we've got now would be x squared, x squared plus 4x plus 6x plus 24. And I wrote it this way because I basically just split up this 10 into a 4 and a 6. The value is still the same. It's just different numbers. So let's continue with that. So looking at this, we just now have to look at the greatest common factor, what we can take out. So what we can take out here in this first part of our equation is x. So here we've got this, right? Because the x multiplies with the x to make x squared, and with the 4 to make 4x. Then in the second part of our equation, we can take out 6. Here, that would also be x plus 4, because 6 times 4 equals 24. So now what we can see is that we have two sets of binomials that are exactly the same. Also, what I forgot to add in, I apologize about that, is the plus in front of the 6, since you basically add these two together. So what that means is we can just now group in the rest. The rest would be x plus 6 and x plus 4, since those are the two things they have in common. And then now you've successfully factored a trinomial. that's really all there is to it. So now let's move on to something a tad bit more difficult, but definitely something you can manage. So now we'll be factoring trinomials with the leading coefficient, which is not equal to 1. So what we can identify from the structure is that obviously the leading coefficient here would be 2, which is just the number in front of the x. In this instance, we do not only look at c anymore, which is -6 here, but we also look at the leading coefficient, which is 2. So what we have to do now is multiply 2 and -6 to make -12. And now we have to look, like just before, look at which two numbers multiply to make a -12, but add to make, if you think about it, it's just 1. So let's try it. Here, on the right, we're going to do the same thing. 1 and 12, 3 and 4, 6 and 2. And we actually didn't really have to go further than 3 and 4 because that's exactly what we're looking at here, and that's exactly what we need. But we can't forget one of these numbers, either here or here, have to be negative. So in this case, for it to equal to x, which the b is 1, that means it will be -3 plus 4, because that equals to 1. So now we can break up this trinomial again, just like last time, into 2x squared -3x plus 4x -6. And now we just look at what these two binomials have in common. Here it would be x. So that would be 2x -3. And then in this one, it would be 2. So that would be plus 2, 2x -3. And now we can see again that these two binomials are exactly the same. So that means we can just take out what's left. And something to just keep in mind is that every time you have two binomials that are the same, you're quite and most definitely on the very right track, because that's exactly what we're trying to get. So now we have left x plus 2 multiplied by 2x minus 3. And that's really it. It's quite simple, actually. And I hope you understood it well and that I was able to explain it well. Thank you so much. If you have anything else you guys need help with, just comment and I'll try to teach it to you to the best of my abilities. Thank you. Goodbye.